report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull. When you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. Hanging at the fish report. You got Craig and TK and Head that D tuned in at the fish report.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio. It's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Tune in to the fish report.
Welcome, folks, to another post-game episode of Fish Report Live. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Fissinger. That is Ken Francis. We have the whole crew back tonight, and that's because TK and Heavy D are back in the sound room. We'll be joining them a little bit later in the show. And Ken, another fun night on FRL. Lots of tournament girls and boys basketball to talk about tonight.
Absolutely. You know, what a fun time of the year, Craig. It's March Madness, and here we are. And, people are getting jacked up for the girls' tournament, the boys' tournament, and what a better way for coverage tonight for the Fish Report Live to go, actually we're going to go live to Pickles Garber Gymnasium here in just a little bit, talk to the sports beat writer for the Sidney Daily News and the associate director of athletics at Wright State University, and that's Matt Zircher. We're really looking forward to talking to Matt, get a little recap of the boys' games, Craig, and then after that we're going to go over and talk to the most knowledgeable guy on girls basketball, and that'll be Jim Dabbelt, from the Dabbelt Report. This guy flat out knows girls basketball. Really looking forward to talking to Jim about the upcoming district championship games that are going to be held this weekend.
Yeah, he's been covering girls basketball for 32 years now, so we're looking forward to, like you said, talking to him. And speaking of girls basketball, tonight's poll question has to do with some district games coming up.
Yes, it does, Craig, and we're going to talk about four of the best best girl basketball players around, and which girls conference player of the year do you feel will be the most exciting to watch in the district tournament? Some really good girl basketball players, Craig, right here, and we're going to see all of them, and a couple of them over here at Troy and the other two up in the northern part of our viewing area. But will it be Allie Downing from Tri-Village, Maria Heron, the exciting guard from the Russia Raiders, Emily Patton from Upper Scioto Valley, or Rosie Westerbeck from Minster?
Yeah, four great players there, and had fun following them this season. All of them will be finishing up their season at some point during this tournament trail. So, great question for tonight. All right, Ken, well, let's get things started talking let's talk some boys basketball, the sectional recap we want to talk about a little bit here. And on Tuesday night, actually, was the sectional semis got started over there at Pickles Garber Gymnasium. As sports writer Joe Nees put it in the Press Pros magazine this morning, the stars were shining bright at Pickle last night when we talk about Jackson Center and Fairlawn.
Absolutely, Craig. And Nathan Lessing from Fairlawn, of course, Craig, all he did was pour in another 30 points, moved up to 24th on the all-time scoring list in the state of Ohio. Craig, he's even extending his range now. I noticed he was 3 for 3 the other night from three-point land. This guy, he's just been a phenomenal player. He's been so much fun to watch, as has Brady Wildermuth from Jackson Center, Craig. And you know what? As fun as they are to watch, they're going to go head-to-head Friday night at Pickles Garber Gymnasium. It's going to be a packed house. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, one of those two's careers is going to come to an end. But, hats off to them, both great players. They've been around a long time, and, I'm sure they'll go out with a bang, whichever one it might be.
Yeah, like you said, played awfully well last night. And just to elaborate a little bit on Lessing, 11 for 13 from the field, 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then, like you said, Wildermuth with a double-double. And now during the regular season, Fairlawn won both of those games, but they were rather close. And as we always say, throw the records out come tournament time, because none of that matters, and it should be a good game.
Absolutely, Craig. And not to jump ahead, but, we're going to have an all Shelby County League finals over there at Piqua, Jackson Center Fairlawn game, Craig, it's just going to be a battle. The coaches know each other well, the players know each other well, and to play each other for the third time, that's what makes the Shelby County League round robin so neat, and also the Pickle sectional so special.
Yeah, let's talk about the bottom side of that bracket. A couple games that were played tonight, and on the phone to break things down with us is our next guest. He is, as you said at the top of the show, a sports writer for the Sidney Daily News, also the Associate Director of Athletic Communications at Wright State University. He's been on the show for as long as we have, Ken, and we're happy to have him. He's Matt Zircher. And Matt, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Nice to be on with you guys.
Hey, well, listen, first of all, apologies for last week. We tried to get you on the show, but as it turns out, I gave TK the wrong phone number, so shame on me, but glad we have you tonight. Are you still there in Pickle right now?
Yeah, we just finished up with the games down here with the second game, and Army pulled away in the fourth quarter to win by 12.
Okay, well, our crew was there for that Russia-Houston game, and we took off a little bit early. Figured we'd talk to you about that, the Fort Laramie Triad game. But I want to talk first, Matt, about that Russia-Houston game. And, outsiders thought this would probably be an easy game for the Raiders heading into it. But I think us Raider fans kind of remember that game over at Russia where Houston, played us awfully close for 3.5 quarters. What did you think about tonight's game between Russia and Houston?
Well, like you said, that second game was kind of back and forth. It was kind of tight at the end. In the first quarter tonight, it was kind of the same way. Houston had like a late three to go up 13-11, and then the Raiders came back with a three of their own right at the buzzer to go up 14-13. But then in the second quarter, they held Houston without a field goal, and just 5 points total. They outscored them 23-5, and that kind of put the game away.
Matt, hi, this is Ken. And how do you feel, Russia's averaging over 80 points a game here in the two sectional games, given, Mechanicsburg and Houston. But Russia appears to be a little more up-tempo. Is it something that they're doing now in the postseason, do you feel? Or do you feel this up-tempo was more characteristics of the two teams that they've actually played in the first two rounds?
I think like you said, they're playing a lot more up tempo. I mean, the night they had they had 10 guys in the scoring column. They were able to distribute the ball real well. I mean, if they can keep that up, who knows how far this Raider team can go.
All right, Matt, and I want to ask you. You just mentioned that Fort Laramie Triad game, and it sounded like kind of a close one there to get started, or for most of the game. What was your thoughts on that contest?
Yeah, like I said, Laramie scored the first 8 points a game, so you're thinking, well, it's going to be another. We've had so many kind of not very close games here in the sectional, but then Triad comes back, and Triad actually led 34-31 with 6 minutes to play tonight, and then Laramie finishes the game on a 20-5 run. Dylan Braun really took over in the fourth quarter. He had 15 points, including 10 of 10 from the line. And a backdoor layup by Austin Siegel kind of got their run going as well.
What did those two teams met earlier in the year, Matt? I think Fort Laramie won convincingly. Actually, I think it was at Triad too. Did the Redskins come in, you think, maybe looking forward to Saturday night's game against the Russia Raiders, or did Triad actually play some pretty good basketball?
Oh, actually, I think Triad had a really good game tonight. They ended up shooting 43% from the field, and that was with going just 4-13 in the fourth quarter. And Laramie was in some foul trouble. Good part of the game. Tyler Siegel picked up a couple quick fouls. Evan Burning had a couple of fouls. And it seems like when Evan Burning wasn't out there on the floor, the Redskins kind of struggled on their offense.
Matt, what's your feeling now? We got all Shelby County League finals. We got Friday night with Jackson Center Fairlawn. We've got Saturday night with Russia and Fort Laramie. We've said all year that the Shelby County League this year is pretty solid top to bottom. Also just heard from TK back in the sound room, actually, that Anna won again tonight as well. So we've got 5 Shelby County League teams still actually playing for sectional championships on this weekend. Does this surprise you, with the success that the league has had this year?
Oh, no, definitely not. I mean, it was a 3-team race for most of the year in the league. Everybody knows Jackson Center, if they can get some offense, and if Wildermuth plays like he can, Anna was the only team that knocked off Rushi in the regular season in the league. They've been very competitive with a lot of teams, so no, it's no surprise to me at all.
And Matt, I want to get your quick thoughts too before we let you go here on Nathan Lessing over there at Fairlawn. And I know you've had an opportunity to watch him probably more so than we have during his career. And I made a comment on this show a couple weeks ago that when they played over at Rushi, I said as much as I was rooting for our hometown Raiders to win that, I said appreciate this guy while he's out there. This is the greatest scorer in the history of the Shelby County League. And I wanted to get your thoughts on what you thought of his career and how he carries himself out there on the court.
He's just tremendous out there. Plays with a lot of control. I mean, the fans have seen it all year. Like I say, he plays under control. He just is so strong around the basket, and it doesn't really let anything faze him. He's just been a very solid player and has had a very solid career.
Well, Matt, listen, really looking forward to your reports here Friday and Saturday night, both for the All Shelby County League Finals. And, appreciate all the coverage you give to local sports. You do a great job, and always appreciate the game stats that we get from you. Always a lot of fun to read all those and in your articles as well. So appreciate your time with you joining us tonight, and good luck to you, and I'm sure we'll see you around this weekend.
All right, that sounds great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, that was Sidney Daily News sports writer Matt Zircher. Good to get him on the show after we missed him last week. Yep. But, he's a lot of fun to talk to about just because he goes to so many games. And like I said, he follows a lot of the Shelby County League.
Absolutely. A great guy, proud graduate of Rushi High School. I think a graduate with Heavy D, if I'm not mistaken. And that guy knows sports, and he's a lot of fun to talk to.
Yeah, speaking of, I mentioned Joe Neves and his Press Pros article this morning. I was reading that article, Ken, and I found it interesting. He was talking to Coach Elkert, interviewing Coach Elkert after that game last night, and he asked him about this matchup with Fairlawn coming up, and Coach Elkert actually, he was quoted as saying, after 23 games, we are what we are, and we're going to do what we do. We just need to make sure we do it well on Friday night. Isn't that the truth?
That's great. That's a great quote there from Coach Elkert. He does a great job. Like I said last week or 2 weeks ago when we had him on the show, I said he's the Tom Izzo of high school basketball. I mean, you don't want to run into this guy in the postseason. He's going to have a game plan, and I can tell you right now, his goal for that game Friday night is to keep it in the under 40 or in the very low 40s. On the other hand, Fairlawn wants to push the pace and get it into the 60s. I can tell you right now, if the game's in the 60s, Fairlawn's going to win. If the game's in the high 30s, low 40s, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, and Fairlawn knows Jackson Center. Jackson Center knows Fairlawn, and Rushi and Laramie know each other. Everyone knows what everyone else does. It's just like Coach Elker said. It's a matter of doing it the best you can.
And don't be surprised, Craig, if one of these four teams ends up punching a ticket to Columbus.
That's a good call. I think that's a good call. All right, well, listen, that's going to wrap it up for the first half of our show, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to switch it over and talk some girls basketball, including that interview with Jim Dabbelt.
Stage at the leaving van. Music starts at 8 o'clock. You can find us here every Wednesday night. It's usually the same cats every week, but I can't tell you all their names. Cat and a junkie, all waiting for time to play. Everybody here's got something that we're trying to leave behind. ask any questions. We're all here just looking for a high. And we're all beautifully broken here tonight.
All right, welcome back to Fish Report Live. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We think we have Jim Dabbelt on the phone here right now, and we're going to talk to him about some high school girls district games coming up down in Troy this Saturday. And Jim, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us. I think we're still working on that right now.
I think we got him. Jim, you there?
Yes, I am. How you guys doing?
Oh, good, good. We got good reception now. All's well. A lot better now, Jim, that we can hear you loud and clear.
Excellent.
Good.
Listen, Ken and I are real excited about this Saturday's big district matchups down there at Troy. It all starts Saturday morning with our hometown Russia Raiders, Jim. They take on the Covington Lady Bucks at 11 a.m. And these are two teams that met previously during the regular season. Ken and I just talked about this a little bit. Russia's first-year head coach, Andy Timmerman, has done a wonderful job for the Raiders. What do you like about this matchup?
Well, one thing I like is the fact that it's going to be a well-coached game. You know, like you said, Andy's done a tremendous job over at Russia this year, and Jim Meyer returns to the bench for Covington, and, his first year back there in the district. So, there's no secret these guys know what they're doing, and it's going to be a really exciting game to tip things off with Saturday morning over at Troy High School. Russia, they come in with three exceptional players, Maria Herron, a 5'8" junior, Larissa Poling, Tiffany Hatcher. But Covington, they've got their own outstanding point guard, Sammy Whiteman, who's a 5'6" point guard. She's the top sophomore in the conference. Unfortunately, Jordan Crowell is out with an ACL tear. And Lexi Long, she had a really big day in the first game of sectionals against Miami Valley to help them advance. So, it's going to be a great way to start this triple header at Troy on Saturday between Russia and Covington.
Jim, hi. This is Ken Francis, and appreciate you being on our show tonight. Let's move forward a little bit to the 1 o'clock game there, Jim, and that's between a team that we know very well, the Jackson Center Tigers. Of course, they've got a great winning tradition over there with back-to-back volleyball state championships. They went to state last year in girls basketball. And this year they're taking on the Cincinnati Christian Cougars, a team that comes in with a overall record of 11-13. I got to be honest with you, don't know anything about this team, but on paper it sure looks like Jackson Center is going to have the upper hand here. What can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, there's no question about that. Being a Final Four team last year for Jackson Center with Patsy Meyer coming back, there's no question they're going to be the favorites in this game. Cincinnati Christian pulled off a couple of nice wins to get to this point. They have an exceptional freshman by the name of Lyric Harris, who's a 5'11" point guard, averages about 10 points a game. They also have a post player, a junior, about 6 foot tall, Grace Edmondson, who's averaging nearly a double-double with 10 points and about 9.7 or 8 rebounds a game. They are the only team coming in with a losing record, but, as you and I both know, it's not necessarily how many you win, it's when you win, and, every year it seems like there's somebody who gets hot that kind of takes people by storm. But that being said, I totally agree with you that Jackson Center should have the upper hand pretty clearly in this game if they come out and play their game on Saturday.
Jim, let's move over to the nightcap game now, the 3 o'clock game, which looks like to me on paper could be the best game of the three. I think game 1 is going to be a very interesting game as well as game 3. And, that's a game between 20-3 Cedarville from the Ohio Heritage Conference as they take on 22-1 Tri-Village from the CCC. Jim, you probably follow these two teams maybe a little more than what we do, but folks over here in the Shelby County League and in the MAC, we tend to step up to the challenges of these other conferences. Are these teams legit, or how do you feel about these two teams? Because the folks over here in Mac Country and Shelby County League Country think we'll be glad to take them on.
Yeah, in the past, Tri-Village has played pretty well and put up a good fight against like the Versailles and the Fort Recoveries of the world. Although this year Versailles took it to them pretty good. It's definitely a different type of ball playing in the MAC, and Shelby County League for that matter as well. Even though they don't have their usual Fort Loramie and Anna at this point in time, at this stage of the game, they're still proven to be a very good league. Allie Downing is the best Division IV player in Southwest District, regardless of what league you're in. She should have them ready to go for Tri-Village on Saturday. Cedarville, they got a 5'11 junior, scored her 1,300 point. She has about 1,300 points. Izzy Bolander, Maggie Coe comes in, a sophomore point guard. Haley Melton, another 1,000-point scorer, who's a senior player for Cedarville. But Tri-Village, it's going to be interesting to see how they step up, because they've been to this point before. They finished near the top of the AP rankings. They have Danica Mann, a post player, scored her 1,000th point as well. Emma Prince, only a sophomore. They have not been playing. There's no secret. They've not been playing their best basketball lately, but they look to try to kick it into gear as they head into districts.
Jim, that I want to go back and talk about finally that the winner of that Russia-Covington game, of course, meets up with an opponent from the Wapak district. They're playing a couple of district semi games on Thursday as number 2 Upper Scioto Valley takes on number 3 Marion Local, and number 1 Minster plays next door neighbor number 4 New Bremen. Who's going to come out of that mayhem and play the Russia-Covington winner?
If I had to pick one out of that group, which obviously is 4 talented teams, I would say Minster, based on their great schedule against a very tough schedule, I should say, after Christmas. Rosie Westerbeck's the best player in the MAC. She comes in as a senior with Courtney Prenger, a very difficult post player to stop, and only a sophomore. So I'd have to give Minster the edge out of those 4 teams to come down to Vandalia when its regional time starts here next week.
Jim, I got to ask you one more question here before we let you go, and it's going to be a fun weekend, district championship weekend. I assume you're going to be watching girls basketball someplace. Where are you going to be at, and what games are you looking forward to the most?
Actually, I'll be 2 days. Friday, I'll be down at Mason for the Division II districts, which locally would include Tip City, Alter, the defending back-to-back state champs, Carroll, and Bellbrook. Then on Saturday, I will be at Troy to watch the 3 Division IV games over at the Student Activity Center at Troy High School.
Jim, I don't know who coined the phrase March Madness, but it really is a magical time of year, whether you're a college basketball fan or a high school basketball fan. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally agree. It's exciting that the colleges are having their postseason conference tournaments are now underway. They'll be having their March Madness, having their Selection Sunday special here pretty soon. And high school-wise, we're heading into the districts for the girls. I just went to watch the Bethel boys play tonight in tournament down at Vandalia Butler. And so they're obviously an exciting team to watch as well on the boys' side. And of course the girls are already in districts. So, it's exciting to watch these young men and women compete at this level as we head farther and farther towards the state tournament.
Well, Jim, listen, we appreciate all the coverage you give girls basketball in this area, and it's exciting stuff, and really looking forward to the games this weekend, and as I'm sure you are as well. And again, thanks very much for joining us on our show tonight.
Thanks, guys. It's been my pleasure. I really enjoyed the time.
We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, that was Jim Dabbelt of the Dabbelt Report, and Ken, glad we got him on the show. Thought maybe we was going to miss him tonight.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, Craig, but when you got the 2 best guys in the sound room back there, and TK and Heavy D, they can always get the right buttons pressed sooner or later.
There they are. Speaking of those guys, yeah, that's TK and Heavy D. Let's go back to those guys, and I know we want to get to tonight's poll question. I think Heavy D had something he wanted to talk about as well.
We're wrapping up the season here at Fish Report, and we kind of wanted to give a special giveaway. We got a fan appreciation night. We got a couple of Raider articles here. Got a
Is that a brand
Raider
new hat?
Baseball hat. We've got a Rushi shirt. So we're going to draw a name. We put all the names out of our favorite listeners into the bowl. We're going to pull out a special name here. Pulled it right off the telemetrics, and just want to.
I didn't even know we had a contest going on. When this all happened, like what in the last couple. You weren't even here last week.
Well,
so.
I've been thinking about it the last couple of weeks. We got some great fans out there, fan appreciation night. So I'm gonna have TK pull out of the bowl here.
We got a bowl and everything.
I like this. That TK and Heavy Deer are doing back here. We got great listeners, and I think one of them deserve a prize.
Rushi Raider fan pack goes out to one of our favorite listeners, Bill Eilerman of Fort Laramie. Congratulations, Bill.
Bill's at the game tonight.
He is. So we will get this Raider gear over to him, and maybe he'll wear it on Saturday.
I'm not real sure Bill's going to wear a Rushi hat, guys.
I don't know.
Or a Rushi
shirt, maybe.
Well, he might. We've been on him enough to wear it. He might. We've been trying. So, Bill, congratulations on winning the prize.
Every time I see that guy, he's decked out in full Fort Laramie gear. I'm not confident he's going to wear it. If he wears that, that's something we're going to have to get a picture of.
That's right. But you got to admit, Craig, Bill is one of our number one listeners of our show out there on a weekly basis. He's one of our number one fans, and appreciate him out there listening.
We do, absolutely. All right, Ken. Well, let's one more thing to get to, and tonight that is tonight's poll. Hard to beat the lottery there, but we do have the poll question to get to. Let's run through that one more time.
We're going to ask the guys back in the sound room what our telemetrics have to say. But which of these girls' conference player of the years will be most exciting to watch at the district tournament? Will it be Allie Downing from Tri-Village, Maria Heron from Rushi, Emily Patton from Upper Scioto Valley, or Rosie Westerbeck from Minster? TK, what's the telemetrics saying?
Telemetrics say a lot of locals want to watch Maria Heron play a little basketball on Saturday. Despite what Mr. Dabbelt said about Allie Downing and being the best in this part of the country or this part of the state, our listeners, 90% Maria Heron.
Well, she's a good one to watch. She's a lot of fun. She's a very humble young lady, and boy, she's got unlimited range out there. I can tell you that.
I can't wait for Saturday, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for our show. Do want to say special thanks to Matt Zircher and Jim Dabbelt for joining us on the show tonight. Ken and I and the crew will all be back again next week for the winter season finale of Fish Report Live. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone.
Hanging at the fish report. 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 For your latest news in high school sports, tune in to the fish report. Don't need no bed, don't need no pull when you tune in to the fish report. Hanging at the fish report.